Everyone surviving so far. Oh, they are not getting hit.
Look, it goes forward. What a move! That's some late braking, and that's what you want to see.
Lots of pressure put on the McLaren driver, but he's dealing with it like a boss.
Hello and welcome guys to the stream. Hope everyone is doing well. And tonight we have the final of the PLR World Tour. Currently P2 in the championship by 1 point. By 1 point we are ahead of P3. So P1 in the championship is pretty much gone, unless by some miracle we win the race and P1 in the championship doesn't finish, basically. But realistically, we can still hold P2, but we're only 1 point ahead of P3, and P3 in the championship is the number 1 Porsche. So we need to finish ahead of him to hold P2 in the championship. If not, it will most likely be P3. So I just realised I forgot to put on my ballast t-shirt, so I will just quickly put on that, and then in 4.5 minutes we can go out on track for quality. Give me 1 second. My apologies. I've not done my hair or anything because I was working today, and I got home and had a quick shower and then had tea and then came on. So excuse my hair. We have not done much practice. I basically speedran build the setup because I had about half an hour last night, and then I did about an hour and a half before we joined us, an hour and a half before qualifying started. So we've had about 2 hours practice, and I built a setup from default aggressive in those 2 hours. So we'll see how we get on. Not much practice, but the car does feel quite good. I'm fairly confident with Circuit of the Americans. I know the track fairly well. I don't know how the pace will be compared to everyone else. That's the only thing. I don't really know how my pace is because I haven't had much time to do any proper laps, but we'll see what the pace is like. But the main goal, like I say, is we need to finish ahead of the number 1 Porsche if we want to keep P2 in the championship, because I'm only 1 point ahead of the number 1 Porsche in the championship. So if we don't finish ahead of him, then it would most likely be P3 in the championship, but we'll just have to see because there's quite a big gap in the points. But the problem is that I don't know how many points each position in the race gets, so I can't actually check. But we'll see, and I'll put it on the Instagram when we actually have the championship result. But full push for tonight, and see what we can do. Obviously got to watch track limits with being Circuit of the Americans, very big issue. But yeah, 20-minute quali, so we've got a good bit of time. It is a 2-minute circuit, so obviously not that many laps, but we'll see how we get on. And then it's a 1 hour race with a mandatory. There's a mandatory pit stop, but I can't remember if it's just a refuel or a tyre change. I think it's a mandatory everything. I think it's mandatory to change tyres, but we'll check. So yeah, 20-minute quali, 1 hour race, 1 point ahead of the number 1 Porsche. See if we can hold P2 in the championship. We basically just need to finish ahead of him to hold P2 in the championship. So we'll see how we get on. Is that him right behind me? It is him right behind me. Can't cross the pit exit line until 20 minutes left of the session. Otherwise I'll get in trouble. Go, go, go! Excuse me. See what the car feels like optimum track. Like I say, I spent 2 hours practicing and built the setup from the default aggressive, so it's not the best setup, but it does the job. Car still feels good. Good rotation. Spent so long building that setup for the race on Saturday that it was the stuff I learned building that setup has helped with this Porsche as well, even though this is the older Porsche. Some of the things I found will work with this Porsche as well. Just with the stability, no exploits or anything, just some of the things you can use to gain rotation in the car and things like that. And I just found a few things like that, but I haven't found any exploits or anything like that. I don't really know if there are any exploits that still work after the update. I know some tracks the negative toe still works, that exploit, but it's an exploit but everyone knows about it, so it's not really like, it's unrealistic but everyone knows about it, so it's kind of hard to say it's an exploit. But I don't know of any other ones since the update that work really well. I've not found any personally, and I've not been told of any. So the biggest thing with the race is track limits. Track limits are a nightmare at this circuit, so we have to be very, very careful that we don't get a drive-through or end up on 3 track limit warnings and then have to drive super slow. Okay, so 4 laps of fuel. Let's see what kind of lap we can do on our first run. We'll get at least 2 qualifying runs. I'm not sure if we'll get a chance for like 1 lap on the 3rd run, but we just need a banker lap in, especially with these track limits. I want a banker lap in first and then push from that. Too much curb. So far, so valid. Fairly clean banker lap so far. Not quick at all, especially in that first sector. I think I was 3/10 slower than what I should be, but I just want a valid banker lap to begin with, and then we can push from this. Yeah, 49.4 in the middle sector. I think I did a 48.9 earlier on a rubbish lap, so this is a slow lap, but at least it's hopefully going to be valid, so then I can just immediately start pushing. But I'd be surprised if this is a 206, to be honest. It's probably going to be like a 207 at least. Oh ho ho, messed up the final corner. That was a fairly clean banker lap. Yep, 207. Very slow lap, but it was clean and valid. That's the main thing. Now we can start pushing for that low 206 or a high 205. That's what we want. A low 206 at minimum. Ah! Already with the lap time invalidations. Already 3/10 up. Half a second up already, but unfortunately invalid, so I'm just going to save the tyres now. Back off a bit. Well, plenty of time in the lap there. So not surprised in the slightest that we're second off the quickest lap currently. That was a very slow lap. But now we have a valid bunker lap in, I can now start pushing. But that number 1 Porsche is currently 5/10 quicker. And I had about 5/10 in the first sector there, so we'll see what time he's got left in his lap and we'll try and get a good lap together. So just taking care of the tyres, but they're nice and warm now. Almost up to pressure, so that is good. Still got 14 minutes left, so we've got 2 laps left of fuel. So I'll do 2 more and then we'll get a fresh set of tyres, some more fuel and go again. I mean, I'm still 2/10 up and I backed off this lap, so there is tons of time in the lap. I just need to make sure I get a good lap together and not invalidate it. There's also, let's see how much time is in the final corner. Oh, I messed it up again. But there is tons of time if I can get that final corner right. No! Oh, come on! Another invalidation. This is going to be my problem. Got the pace, but it's the track limits. So we can do 1 more push lap, and then I'll get a fresh set of tyres and more fuel. Got tons of time in the lap. But this is the problem I knew we would have, is track limits. But the biggest one is going to be in the race, because I only get 3 warnings and then it's a drive-through. So hopefully we benefit from other people getting drive-throughs and don't get one ourselves, because it's very easy to get one here. But yes, tons and tons of lap time in the lap if I can get a valid lap. Again, not really pushing since I invalidated it and still 3/10 up. Only a second off pole, and that lap had... I was half second up that lap without pushing that hard. So let's do a push lap and then fresh tyres and fuel. Not great exit there. Not a good first sector there, unfortunately. Well, actually, first sector was okay, it was the middle sector, sorry, that was bad. provisionally right behind the driver we need to finish in front of. So, fresh tyres, bit more fuel, and we go again. Oops. So lots of time in the lap, I just need to get a clean lap together. Currently, I need 2 tenths would put me up 3 positions, sorry. I'm too tired. So yeah, if I find 2 tenths, which we definitely have in the lap, especially in that middle sector, that would put us P5. But it's that number 1 Porsche, guys, that's currently P7. That's the one that is only 1 point behind us in the championship. He's P3 and I'm P2, and he's only 1 point behind us, so we need to finish ahead of him to keep P2. So 8 minutes to go. Heat up the tyres on this outlap and try and get a valid but quick lap. We'll have about 6 minutes left by the time we do this outlap, so we've got to really push and just be careful not to invalidate it. I'll probably push in stages, so I'll do the first lap medium push, and then I'll wait till the final lap, and then I'll just maximum push, and if it's invalid, it's invalid. But I at least want 1 quick lap that's actually valid. But right now, provisionally P10, and like I say, only less than a tenth off of P8, so quite close at the moment. But lots of time in the lap, at least half second, so we just need to make sure we get it valid and try and get the lap together. Some fresh rubber. Enough fuel to allow us to stay out till the end of the session. So I'll just leave the leaderboard for now, and we just full focus on ourselves, and we'll see if it's enough at the end. Missed the apex. Didn't really lose much time, but still missed the apex of turn 1. I lost a lot of time on this corner on that other lap. Okay, so 2 tenths up. Not much, but still a bit. Ah, messed up that right hander so bad. At least a tenth and a half. Yeah, I lost I think 2 tenths in that final sector there. Closer to making the apex, but still missed it. Okay, well, we have 1 or 2, oh my days, 7 thousandths off the number 1 Porsche. So if anyone's just tuned in, that number 1 Porsche, we need to finish ahead of him if we want to keep P2 in the championship, because we're only ahead of him by 1 point. And currently 7,000 still are in quali, so we need a good lap, because we need to start ahead of him. So we've got 3 minutes left, so we have at least 1 final lap. Thanks Pascal, we'll see what we can do tonight. Obviously the race is where it matters, the drive-throughs and things like that. That's where it matters, but we need a good starting position. Pace is much better than I expected considering the lack of practice I had. No joke, I'd be surprised if we had any more than 2 hours practice. And I didn't have a setup, so I just built this off with the aggressive, so running on very low practice. Oh, there's at least 2 tenths in the final little section of corners there. Or the final sector I should say. So we have the lap time. In the lap, we just need to get it all together. And we've got time for 2 more laps, and we have enough fuel, so full push. No way was that a lap time invalidation. Come on, 3 tenths up. Oh, that's just so annoying. That was a good start to the lap. Ah, man. Okay, well we have 1 final flying lap. So we'll have to try and not invalidate it and just maximum push, because we can't take it easy. This is our final push lap. We need at least the 2 tenths we've got in the final section of corners. I think we've got half a second in the lap, because we've got 2 tenths at least in the first section, and then we've got at least 2 tenths in the final sector. So I think if we actually got the lap together, I think we could find half a second. So we just need to get this lap, this final lap, tidy. Shouldn't have any traffic, I hope. Got considerable gap, so just maximum push, final lap. Yep, got plenty of space, so we can just full push on this final lap. We're going to cross, probably going to be the last person to start a lap. But yeah, look at that, there's so much time in the lap, it's actually frustrating me. Look at that, so much time in the lap. Right, we've got to push. Let's go. Go, 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 go. That was slow.
Yellow flag accepted.
Rubbish exit, rubbish. 2 tenths con. I lost 2 tenths in the first sector. Still valid, so we can max push in the final sector. Definitely add another 2 tenths there. Just messed it up on the exit.
Yellow flag is there. Watch out in front. Session is now over.
It wasn't enough. Okay, we've got a lot to make up. So that's our rival there. He did improve massively on that final lap. Right. So if anyone's just tuned into the stream, the number 1 Porsche, he is P3 in the championship and we're P2, but we're only 1 point ahead of him in the championship, so we'll only keep P2 if we finish ahead of him, which at the moment is going to be quite a hard task. So we really need to have a good race tonight, and yeah, we really need to be careful. Not a very good qualifying, bit of lack of practice, and I messed up my lap a bit as well, so I don't think we had 7 tenths in the lap though, which was it 7 tenths he was quicker than me? No, sorry. He was about 6 tenths. I don't think I had 6 tenths in the lap. I definitely had at least maybe 3 or 4, but I don't think I quite had 6 tenths. So, but we're at least starting P10 on the outside of turn 1, so we just have to really push for the race, because this is going to be a tricky one. And kind of hope basically for a crash up in front of us or something like that we can benefit from. We have to be careful we don't get any drive-throughs for track limits or anything, and we'll see how we get on. So yeah,
30 seconds.
see what we can do, guys. It's the final race, and starting P10, the Porsche in front of the Lambo. We need to finish ahead of him if we want to keep P2 in the championship. So this will be a tricky one. 1 hour race, low temperatures. It does increase to about 20 something degrees, low 20s, but starting at 17 degrees, we have to be super careful for track limits. We cannot afford a drive-through. We cannot afford it. So we need to be careful with our track limits. And if we're on 2 or 3 warnings, I will just back off, because I simply cannot afford to get a drive-through this race. So we'll see how we get on. Maybe the drivers in front, some of them will get drive-throughs or have crashes. We're basically just needing to try and survive that. And we're starting on the outside, so we've got to focus for this one, see what we can do. Just do the formation lap now. Why we heat up my tyres near the end. It's such a long track, there's no point heating up your brakes or tyres right now. They'll cool down by the time you get to the end of the lap. Wait till the final sector. Thanks, we'll see what we can do. Just really push. Try and make up some positions in the race. The car feels good considering I literally only did 2 hours on this up. So the car feels okay. So I just got to be careful I don't overdo my tyres, because I haven't done a full, like I haven't done a half hour or a longer stint here yet. So I have to be careful I don't overdo my tyres, and I have to be very careful for drive-throughs and not getting too many track limit warnings. Because it's a fairly long pit lane. I mean, like, the leader could get a drive-through and still finish in the points. Maybe even in the top 5 he wouldn't lose that much time if it was near the end of the race. But if you're like midfield, it does cost quite a bit, because everyone's so much or a lot closer together, whereas if you're at the front of the field it maybe wouldn't cost you as much. But yeah, let's see what we can do. And a 1 hour race coming up. One mandatory tyre change which we'll serve halfway through the race. And just wanted to heat up my tyres a little bit, because they are quite considerably cold. See what we can do in the race though, guys. Low temperature, so tyres, good for tyres. Just have to be careful I don't slide too much, because this is a bit of a slidey setup because I didn't have time to do the dampers properly. So it's a little bit slidey, more than I would have liked, but I just have to be careful with my tyres. But it's only a half hour stint, so it shouldn't be too bad. Yes, brakes, tyres, both cold. So I have to be careful into the turn 1, and let's see if anyone does a Valtteri Bottas and just plows into the side of everyone. Because turn 1 is basically a super sharp hairpin, so if anyone sends it up the inside, it's basically death. So we're on the outside, so we have to just watch the radar and our mirrors and make sure no one's sending it on the inside, because it's unavoidable when you get to the apex if you're the car about to be hit. Very, very tight. Great start for us, 2 positions already.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Assassin super slow on the first lap, not what we want. That's the Porsche for P2 in the championship, just in front of the Aston, so need to pass this Aston as quick as possible. This is the old Porsche though, remember, so the straight line speed is gonna sting. Everyone running high downforce, it looks like. That Lamborghini's still gonna send it. Gonna hold it around the outside though.
Car on the right.
He's going for another send, come on! Need to push for the Aston. Need to get past the Aston because that Porsche is already pulling away. Oh! Massive mistake by the Aston. Huge mistake. He must have obviously been put off by the night and maybe didn't see his braking board with it being so dark. You can't read the braking board numbers when it's at night because of the reflection. So especially on the long straights it's very hard, and that is the Porsche that we need to finish ahead of for P2 in the championship. Already getting directly behind him up to P7, so 3 positions in the opening lap. Excellent start for us. This is what we wanted. And he will hopefully know that this is for P2 in the championship, so he'll hopefully start to feel a bit of pressure, because whoever finishes ahead gets that P2. So it's not really 6th and 7th in the race, it's more thinking about the championship. So he will hopefully feel a bit of pressure. That white Ferrari going very wide indeed. We've got a big gap to the Aston. He's obviously defending to the Lambo or made a mistake, so we don't have to worry about him on the straight. So this is really good for us. And that Porsche is still behind the Ferrari. Ferrari wide though. They're side by side. BMW looking at the wrong braking board, went really wide. That Porsche is getting held up. This is great for us. Is he going to make it past though? He is indeed. Do not want to lose that Porsche. What an exciting opening few laps though. Need to get past this Ferrari now though. I don't want to lose time passing him. Did I cut the track? Where did I cut the track? Right, gotta be careful then. That's our first one already. I am pushing though, so maybe just need to be careful. Still push to try catch the Porsche, but just be mindful of the white lines. That Porsche knows he's got no straight line speed. Sitting duck to the Ferrari on the straight. Such a long straight here as well. Would be surprised if the Ferrari doesn't send it into here. The Ferrari does send it. This is great stuff for us.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
Porsche right in front of us now.
Gaining on the driver ahead in sector 3.
Ferrari a bit wide. That Ferrari is actually P5, so after qualifying P10, we're potentially in the battle for P5 at the moment. Little mistake by the Porsche. Not quite in the slipstream for the straight. Remember in Watkins though, this Porsche ran very slow on the straight setup, so it's possible he's done the same thing. Just trying to force the Porsche into some little mistakes that we can benefit from. Keeping exactly a 7/10 gap to him that entire lap, so similar pace. Both of them a bit wide there. I was a bit early on my brakes though, so I lost a little bit in turn 1, as we can see. Okay, so first sector is our worst sector, so we need to be a bit quicker through there, especially that turn 1. That's where we lose the most. Final sector last lap we were the same. Not sure about the middle sector, but definitely that first sector we've got to be careful on. Okay, 10 minutes in, survived so far. 2-second gap to the car behind. We'll probably go quicker on race pace than we did in quali, but then our quali was awful.
Well done, mate. Yours are the best.
So we lose in the first sector to that Porsche, but we definitely gain in that middle sector. See if we're close enough this lap for some beautiful slipstream. Would be really nice about now. And not close enough, unfortunately. Well, we will get a tiny bit, but not really much. that's actually going to help. He's also very early on the brakes there. But yeah, definitely gaining time on him in Sector 2. Similar pace in Sector 3, but we lose a little bit in Sector 1. So as far as overtaking is concerned, Sector 2 is probably going to be our best sector to overtake in. Sector 3 is kind of hard to overtake. It's now a 3.6 second gap to the car behind, and we are actually gaining on the guy in front, so this is good. Keep this up. Well, that time we didn't lose as much in turn 1. Gained about 2/10 of my delta, so pushed a little bit harder there. Still, I think lose a little bit, but not as much as we were previous laps. Just pushed the braking zone a bit later. And that seemed to work. Oh, the setup feels nice over that curb, like very stable. Almost close enough to get slipstream now. Almost. It's Porsche versus Porsche. Oh, lock up. I locked up. It's going to cost me about half a second. I need to try and make that back up. Just a little lock up by myself. Just pushed a bit too late in the braking zone. Oh, come on, that is not a warning. Someone's already got a drive-through for track limits. And I have to be careful now for track limits. I cannot afford a drive-through. It'll quite simply cost us P2 in the championship if we get a drive-through. Okay, bad first two sectors, but we'll start trying to make up that time. I've just got to be careful now for track limits. Okay, so we need to push now. Without a drive-through. Oh, that was awful. I got completely put off because the cone's been knocked. So I was looking for the apex cone and it wasn't there. Just have to watch that for the next lap. It's looking like the Porsche might start to battle the Ferrari soon, which might allow us to close this gap up, depending how much that Ferrari defends. Okay, so I lost 4 tenths there on that lap, but I want to push, but I cannot afford a drive-through. So I'm almost having to be really cautious. Oh, ho, ho, was that a bit of contact? Or net code? I wonder if my tyres are going. Maybe that's why I'm locking up there, because I'm consistently locking up that corner. And I don't think I'm braking any differently. So I maybe just need to brake a bit earlier with these tyres, because I have been pushing hard on the tyres. Oh, Porsche's passed. See if the Ferrari gets him on the straight again. As that is what happened last time. Porsche was a bit of a sitting duck on the straight. Very was close there. Still there, same thing again. Ferrari's going for the Porsche again. He's got such a hard time defending with the straight line speed. It's pretty much impossible at Kota. You need to build a big gap through the corners to be able to defend on this, to be far enough ahead on the straight that it doesn't matter. Five minutes in some fresh rubber. Porsche back behind the Ferrari, unfortunately. Oh, that sun is bright. Like, as in, you can't see the apex. Not as in, it's hurting my eyes in real life. It's just the game graphics. When the sun is like that and very low, it almost hides the apex curbs, which is not what you want when the track limits are this bad. Okay, pit end of next lap. just add a bit extra fuel just in case we get an extra lap. Okay, pit end of this lap I think. Might work, might not. Okay, so a bit bigger pace drop than I would have liked. Still just behind our championship rival, but bigger pace drop than I was expecting. Please be on the jacks, please be on the jacks. Yes! On the jacks, come on. Come on, come on, come on. 2 track limit warnings, so we've got to be careful we don't get a drive through.
Mandatory stop is not clear. Come on, let's go.
Hopefully we don't get held up in traffic, otherwise pitting slightly early won't work. Oh, I can actually brake now. I'm going to put my brake bias up so it doesn't kill the tyres as much, and maybe on the home straight I'll put my ABS up by 1. I don't want the same thing to happen in the second half of the race. We need a strong outlap with 0 traffic. Be interesting to see if they've come in straight after me or if they'll wait another lap or 2 and try and overcut. Number 3's got a drive through for speeding in the pit lane. I assume they're quite far behind us though, because drive through for speeding in the pit lane is when you turn off your pit limiter exiting the pit lane. So if they're exiting the pit lane, they must be quite far behind. So this will benefit us. It's easy to get a stop and go penalty for the pit entry though. Look at that, I can actually rotate there. So higher brake bias, higher ABS will hopefully protect my tyres for the next stint. hopefully that Porsche has stayed out an extra lap and doesn't just do an overcut on me. I have to do the opposite of what they're doing, otherwise I'll get the same result. That is them on pit exit. That is them on pit exit. So, have I gained? Have I lost? I've lost 4 seconds. Okay. So they obviously made up a lot of time on their in-lap than I did. And I also lost quite a bit of time on my outlap. It's a bit disappointing. Whoa! Wait, no, I've gained a position. Sorry, guys. We've actually gained a position. We've overtaken the Ferrari in the pit stop. So he must have had a bad pit stop, but we're still behind the Porsche. So the Porsche we need to finish ahead of, we're still behind him. But we are now P6 after everyone's finished pitting. So that Ferrari must have had an awful pit stop, because I'm pretty sure he was ahead of the Porsche going into the pit lane. And now he's behind both of us by quite a margin. So it's possible he's had a bad pit stop, or he's missed his jacks or something similar. But it does mean I have a 4.2 second gap to the Porsche. So the Porsche also had a good pit stop. Hopefully the Porsche catches the Audi and they battle, because that would give us a chance at catching the Porsche. And if this Ferrari catches me, I might just let him go and hope that we can both catch the Porsche, because I have no chance of defending on the straights. So think of the bigger picture and try, and if he does catch me, I'll let him through, and hopefully he can catch the Porsche if I can't. So yeah, one more to pit, so we're P6 after the pit stops, and that Porsche has indeed gained some time on us. Porsche is losing time to the Audi. I'm not really sure if we're gaining on the Porsche though. Currently, I'm not gaining on the Porsche, but I'm also not losing to the Porsche either. The gap is staying around about 4.9 seconds, which is a big gap for 21 minutes left. Oh, gained half a second on the Porsche. He must have made a mistake because he lost a lot of time to the Audi. Now I know I said if the Ferrari catches me I'd let him through in the hopes that he would then go catch the Porsche, but it's gotten slightly more complicated because there's a Lamborghini right behind him. So that might not actually be possible to let him past, because I can't lose 2 positions. Because otherwise I'll end up battling with the Lamborghini and the Porsche will just pull away. I had to back off there, otherwise I would have got a track limit warning. Couldn't afford it. My mistake. Hopefully he catches that Porsche. I had to back off so I didn't get a track limit warning and couldn't defend on that straight at all. Well, I tried to cut back on him, which almost worked, but then I didn't have the straight line speed to actually get alongside him, even though I had slipstream. So glad the new Porsche is out. This will be the final race that we do with this thing, and then we can move over to the new Porsche completely. So basically what I've got to hope is that this Ferrari doesn't start making mistakes and that he catches that Porsche. Ah, come on. I don't want to battle with you, I want to catch the Porsche. Please. There's actually no point battling with him because I'll just lose it on the straight. I need him to catch that Porsche. And I need to slipstream on the straight to defend from the Lambo behind me. Okay, so the Ferrari already gained 2 tenths on the Porsche, but we've only got about 17 minutes left. So we'll see if the Ferrari catches him, and I've just got to stay with the Ferrari so that when he does catch him I can take advantage of it. And I also really need a slipstream because I have no chance at defending to this Lambo on the straight if this Lambo is in my slipstream and I have nothing. But I'll be okay if I'm close enough to the Ferrari that I'm in his slipstream. Basically need a tow from the Ferrari to stay ahead of this Lambo. 16 minutes to go. Ferrari's not really gaining. Certainly not quick enough. Ferrari seems to be quicker, I just don't know if it's quick enough to catch him in 15 minutes. Need some mistakes from the Porsche.
Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left. Clear
I
on
just
the
made
left.
a mistake. Able to defend at least. But that Ferrari has gained 8 tenths on the Porsche, which is good, but I lost a lot of time there. I braked slightly too late. The Lamborghini did a very good job there of putting the pressure on, and I made a mistake under it. Braked too late. Yep. That Ferrari's gained a second on the Porsche now, down to 3.8, but I've lost a lot to the Ferrari because of that. Oh no. Do chat, got my warnings, I can't afford to push. That Ferrari's gaining quickly on the Porsche, but I have to just defend from this Lambo and be very careful with the track limits. If I get another one that's a drive-through and it's gone. Might even lose P3 in the championship, I don't know. It would be bad either way. Yeah, Ferrari's not gaining quick enough on the Porsche, looks like we have to settle for 7th and just make sure I don't get a drive through it, really. I think P2 in the championship is gone unless the Porsche gets a drive through or spins out. I've just got to make sure I don't get a drive through. As you can see, I'm driving a bit slower, but I've got to be cautious over these track limits. It's these corners that are the worst because you don't see the track limit line until you've already passed it or you're on it, and then you can see it. That's where I got my final warning. Left him space, but he wasn't close enough. Got us on the straight, but we outbraked him. 8 minutes to go now. That Ferrari is really catching the Porsche. I think the Porsche is getting held up with back markers. Only 3 seconds separating them, but I've had to back off to make sure I don't get a drive through, but also to defend. So unless they crash with 5 minutes to go, we've just got to try and defend for P7 and make sure I don't get another track limit warning, because they're very easy to get. But yeah, it looks like the Porsche's got held up with those 2 back markers who are fighting for position, and now he's only 2 seconds ahead of the Ferrari, so we'll see if anything happens with them. He's also gained on the Audi, so maybe the Audi also got held up a bit. I had to really slow down there because
Car on the left.
I cut the track and I didn't want to get a drive through.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
The Lambo got past me, but he got an awful exit. Oh, he just went into the back of me, misjudged his speed in comparison to mine. Oh,
Clear on the right.
a little bit of contact there. Ferrari lost time to the Porsche through those back markers. I think they were fighting for position. It's also hard for the back markers to find somewhere to let them past without losing lots of time themselves, because Kota's a hard track for overtaking, so it's also a hard track to let people through that. Oh, Lamborghini's binned it! Oh, he's pushed too hard and he's spun on his own. Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame. He's only lost one position, but obviously overdid it there. Pushed a little too hard and he spun round completely by himself. Well, I assume, unless, because I don't think he was close enough for the Aston to do it, so I think he's just binned it on the curb there. So we've got 5 minutes. Now we've got the Aston, who's even quicker on a straight line. So we'll see what we can do now. A new opponent, so see what he's like, if he's going to be aggressive or if he's going to be careful. I hope careful, because we've got 5 minutes left and I really don't want to have a crash with 5 minutes to go. Oh, someone's just got a drive through with 5 minutes to go. Glad it's not us, to be honest, because I'm on pre-track with my warnings. So that was that could be very possible for us to get a drive through now. Oh, the Aston went flying there on the sausages. Right up in the air there. How's it going, Emmanuel? Ciao, ciao. Yes, Lambo Rambo. How's you? Well done with Bathurst. Excellent result. Great job. Especially with all the things that happened to you guys with the connection issues and the crashes and everything. It was really, really well done. Okay, so this is why the Ferrari and the Porsche all lost time, because 26th and 25th are fighting for position, but they're back markers, so they obviously maybe don't have places to let us through, and also don't want to let us through as much in case they lose position. We've got 2 or 3 laps to hold off this Aston though, who is going to be a rocket on that back straight. Please let me pass into turn 1, please. The Aston spun! So the Lambo spun by himself and the Aston did a massive half spin there. Oh, everyone's either struggling for tyres or something, I don't know. This Porsche, this is just the old one, Emmanuel. We did the new Porsche for RCI 6 Hours of Barcelona, and oh, after spending like a week on the setup, it felt amazing to drive. So much better than this one, especially with the straight line speed. It's amazing. But this league didn't allow us to move to the new version of the cars halfway through the season, so RCI did, but this championship hasn't allowed us to do that. So we are stuck in the old one, but this is the finale of the championship, so final race in this one. Goodbye to the old Porsche. I've got 2 minutes 11 seconds left, so I'm going to assume 2 more laps because I think the leaders are quite a bit further ahead. Have you tried the new Porsche, Ferrari or Lambo yet, Emmanuel? Oh! Very slow there by this Porsche. Thank you for using your indicators though. Yeah, Porsche's good. The new Porsche is really good.
Car on the left.
It is difficult to set up, but with the right setup it's amazing. Okay, so 2 more laps left, guys, I think. I think this is penultimate lap. Yeah, it's quite a long championship, that one, isn't it? Has the BMW been changed much since the update? Does it feel much different, or is it just the updates that all the cars got with as to regards to tyre compound and the suspension changes and things for the setups? Or has the BMW been completely changed like the Mercedes? Because I'll be honest, I haven't driven the BMW in ages, so I have no idea myself. Should get a message saying leader starting final lap soon. Yeah, so just what all the cars got is you have to set it up slightly differently.
The leader has finished the race.
Oh, so the leader missed that final lap by literally a second. Because it said 0-0 and then it said leader finished the race, so leader must have missed getting that final lap by a second, really. Be interesting to see though if anyone runs out of fuel on the final sector because they didn't fuel for the correct amount of laps. Don't get a drive through on the final 2 corners, Cody. Final race of the championship, final race with the Porsche. P7, P3 in the championship, I think. Well deserved. P2 for the championship with this man right here, who takes P2 for the championship, I believe. Oh, yeah, I must be dropping oil or something because that was 2 cars that spun out behind me. That was weird. Oh, that was exhausting. Good race though. Good race. Did lose the P2 in the championship, unfortunately. But had the pace in the first 20 minutes. Was battling with them. Final 10 minutes of the first stint, my tyres had started to die, and I struggled a bit. And then got fresh tyres, beat the Ferrari in the pit stop, but then ended up on 3 track lap warnings, had to back off a bit. Just one of those things, but still hoping that's P3 in the championship. If it is, then that will be great. Alright. Oh. Right, I'll just put a message in the Discord. Right. Oh. Right. Let's have a look at the replay of that not crash, spin by the Lambo. But yeah, could have been very nasty. I'm not sure if I already responded to your message there, but when Lambo went into the back of me on the back straight, that could be nasty because it was just before the braking zone. So had it been at the braking zone and I tapped my brakes, that would have been it. But yeah, still P10 to P7, fighting for the P5 in the first 20 minutes. I'm happy with that. I'm really tired now, cannot lie. But I just had a good start. I went into the race like I need to be aggressive if I want to get P2 in the championship. So I did that from the get-go, straight into turn 1. Went round the outside of the BMW, round the outside of the Lamborghini as well. Went on almost on the sausage curb, but just went for it. And passed both of them there, and that Aston so nearly cost me. Because he was very, very slow at the start. This bit here as well, on lap 1, the Lamborghini sent it on me, and I just held around the outside, and then the Lamborghini sent it on me again. That, lucky I actually left him space there, because had I turned in on the normal racing line, he would have actually spun me around there. That was actually a very close call there that I left in space, because that could have been nasty. But anyway, yes. Then here, the Aston, massive mistake. I'm assuming that because it's at night, he was either distracted by the cars in front, or he couldn't see his usual braking marker because he just brakes far, far too late. And then he avoided the sausage curbs, but obviously couldn't get a good exit. So immediately by the end of the first lap, our rival had lost position to the Ferrari and we had gained 3 positions, so it was us and the rival. And just through the laps we got close but no cigars, they say. But yeah, some good battles there, and some nice scenery with the sunset. slightly distracting when you're coming around the apex and there's a sun straight where the apex of the corner is. Here with the Ferrari, I tried a wee switchback on here. I can't remember if I backed off here because, yeah, I did back off here because I went over the line. So I lifted off the throttle a bit because I didn't want to get a track limit warning, I think, anyway. And then I saw the Ferrari obviously gained on me, so I braked early, tried to... Oh yeah, it is the sunrise because we started in the night, didn't we? Sorry. So I tried to cut back and he didn't actually go that deep, so it didn't really work. So I used the slipstream and it actually worked quite well, the slipstream. But then as soon as I went out the slipstream, I had no straight line speed. And at this point I was torn between letting the Ferrari go and hoping he catches the Porsche and just follow the Ferrari and get in his slipstream, or battle with the Ferrari and hope the Porsche makes a mistake. And I almost sent it there, but I wasn't quite close enough. And then did I go for the move here? No, I backed out of it. But yeah, then that was it. But then the problem was that I ended up, which is what I said on the stream, was that I was worried about letting the Ferrari through in case the Lamborghini and Aston caught me, which is exactly what happened. But the Ferrari never caught the Porsche anyway, so even if I didn't had to defend, I still probably wouldn't have caught the Porsche because the Ferrari didn't, and I think the Ferrari had definitely had a little bit more race pace than I did. In the first stint, not so much because were gaining on him, I think, but in the second half of the race, the Ferrari definitely was quicker than I was. But yeah, I want to see what happened with the Lamborghini because this was quite a long battle with the Lambo. And then this one, which one did he go into the back of me? See, this was actually quite clumsy, I'm not gonna lie, because on the straight, right, slipstreaming me, I'm holding the inside, drives into the back of me. I think this is it. It might have just looked like that, but I think that's the one where he went into the back of me. And then here into the thing, and I'm not sure, maybe should be further over to the left because there's contact there, but maybe I should have been further over to the left because he's on the racing line, I'm on the inside. Although if he had continued on that line, I don't know if I would have actually had any space by the time he got to the curb. Seems like he maybe turned in at the normal racing line instead of, because even after getting hit there, I get hit and I only just avoid the sausage curb. So maybe a racing incident because he turned in a bit early and I'm a bit wide, but then it's such a tight corner that you have to be. That's why the racing line is so wide, because you have to take a really late apex and a really wide line to be able to carry any sort of speed through the corner. So I am not going to point a finger at that one because I'm not really sure if anyone was really at fault there or if that was just a racing incident. But here it was. So James Bond style, I chuck oil out the back of my car, it seems, because he's following and he just bins it on his own, completely around. You know what it is? I think he's carried too much speed in third gear. He's missed the apex, look. He's sliding, he's still on the brake, and then he lifts off the brake and the throttle, half throttle. He's just unsettled the car too much, and then at this point he hasn't been able to save it. But then the same thing happened with Aston on here with the back markers. So I overtake this Aston. I wasn't sure if the Aston was going to let me through, and then he did. And then I think this Aston wanted to follow me through the back marker, and he just loses it on the braking. Brakes very hard, tries to turn too tight. It's almost like a 180 this corner. It's a very tight hairpin, and it's like he's braking very hard whilst turning, and he just overdoes it. But yeah, have to wait on the championship results. I'll put them on Instagram I'll put the results up when the championship results are actually out. But yeah, it's I've got to wait on any stewards reports and things like that. I doubt there will be any from those in front of me that will actually affect my position, unless I get a penalty, but I don't think I will. There was anything that I would actually get a penalty for. I do excuse my voice. But what was the other thing? Yeah, so I have to wait. Yeah, that's what it was. Even if there isn't any stewards reports against me, they don't update the standings until all the stewards reports are done. So we have to wait for that. So it does take a couple days. But yeah, as always, guys, a big thank you for watching. Next planned stream is on Friday this week. I'm hoping to get some other streams done in between then. It just depends on work and things like that, what time I finish. But yeah, hopefully get some other streams in before then. But yeah, as always, guys, big thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you again next time.